Добрый день, уважаемые ученики, все участники образовательного процесса. Меня зовут Ольга Владимировна Тарасова. Я являюсь учителем английского языка школы номер 46. Сегодня у нас с вами очередной урок, чему я очень рада нашей встрече. Но сегодня тема нашего занятия будет посвящена развитию навыков письма. В частности, решила взять одну из таких тематик, которая является одной из важных при написании. Это как правильно написать ревью, да, на фильм просмотренный, либо на книгу. За основу опять-таки берем УМК Spotlight, и в соответствии с программой это идет у нас Модуль 5. Итак, прежде чем приступить к основным стратегиям, давайте, наверное, разберемся, что же собой представляет ревью. Всем знакомо ревью – это краткий очерк, краткое мнение человека о просмотренной книге, о фильме, о каких-то ТВ-программах и так далее. На экзамене, как правило, вам дается сочинение написать на тему очерка по книге, либо по фильму. So you can see that review, it's given like as a short description of books, films, plays, TV program, etc. When you give your opinion or when you give your recommendation, if person should read this book or shouldn't, you see. Before we start, I want you to watch this short video and take your pen and take your copybook where you can write and where you can make some notes. Please.
What is a movie review assignment? Movie review assignments are academic papers that cover students' understanding of a movie. It can be an overall review or focus on specific areas such as plot or characterization. What to do before writing a movie review. 1. Watch the movie several times to become familiar with it and the characters. 2. Familiarize yourself with some authoritative sources. IMDb is the most popular film and TV information site, but there are a number of others depending on what you need. 3. Read professional critiques about its pros and cons to get some idea of what is being said about it by professional critiques. 4. Read about the movie's context, how the movie was made and who was involved. Movie review structure. Introduction. Introduce the movie and your purpose in writing this review. Develop a thesis and explain your main point or argument. Body. Body is the main part of the review. This is where you discuss the movie. Plot, characterization, themes, it all goes here, along with your opinion of them. Recommendation. Recommend who would enjoy this film with some links between it and previous films. Sum everything up and reiterate the introduction. To know more, please read the full article on essaybasics.com.
Yes, even there was a given recommendation where you can find more information about this writing, the side. So, as you understood, when we start giving review or writing review, first of all, following the steps, watch the film for several times if it's necessary, or you can understand, of course, from the first time, you see. And don't forget that it consists of, your writing consists of 3 main parts. We'll be talking about it in the next slide. But here I want to mention this fact that it's very important when you write your review that you should use present tenses. You describe all the events in your essay in present, simple or other present tenses that are possible to use. And the second point that is very important, that you should use variety of adjectives to make your comments clearer and more precise. Yes, we'll be talking about adjectives more. We will define them into gradable and non-gradable. Before you had some video where other teachers, they explained what is the difference between them. Here we'll do it and we'll remember some of the main points. Well, if you see the structure of review that is presented here, this graph, so it consists of 3 main parts. You see that it is introduction. And what can be included in introduction? Here you give background information. So you should tell about the title, of course, how is it called. You should tell about type of book or film. Is it adventure? Is it horror, comedy? We'll be talking as well. And the name of author if it is book, or director if it's given film. So, usually in introduction it will be enough to write 2-3 sentences, no more. Coming to the main part, body paragraphs, with analysis, you can see I decided to write it. So I want to remind that usually it consists of 2 paragraphs. You see where you can write in paragraph 1 summary of the plot, but you should remember all the time that you don't need to write your summary in details. Because it's not the essay where you describe event by event, action by action. You give the short information, or as I said before, summary. And also you point here who are the main characters in this film or book as well. The second paragraph of main body is given the general comments on the plot. You see, okay, with your attitude, with your opinions, what was positive, you see, to say about plot exactly, to say about characters, beginning if you like it or not, and the themes of the book or film as well. Also, if you give bad review, I mean negative, you change it. Coming to the last paragraph, it will be conclusion. So, or we can call it like as a recommendation. What is your recommendation? Should people watch it or they shouldn't? Is it worth seeing or not? So you give your opinion exactly there with the reason, yes, to support your recommendation. Okay, so here I've presented for you some extract from the writing task, one of the example, and what I want you just read this writing, and your task will be to match the paragraphs which are presented letters on the left side, paragraphs 1 to 4 with letters. Well, so I think that we can do it together. Usually how we start this task, we look through the questions, yes, general comments on the book, and give some keywords, reason for writing, background information, summary of plot, and opinion recommendation with reason and closing comments. So you see, if we start from the first one, try to find what could be keywords presented here. Sorry, you see what keywords. It's like as a background information. Okay. Well, so let's match. So it's clearly seen that the first one is given the reason for writing or background information, because she gives like a don't worry about which book to take. I've just read brilliant fantasy thrillers set in Ireland. Yes, it's called, and she wants to read it with her favorite author. The next paragraph, paragraph number 2, let me tell you a bit about the book. Basically, it's fairy tale for our times. It's about and blah blah blah. He won the fairs. So you can see that it's given a summary of the plot. Yes, you see that there are not many sentences presented and all of them are in present. As I said before, yeah, you see he wants or it's about, you see, and is. Paragraph 3, coming to this point, you see, can imagine the plot is very exciting, it's fast-paced, very funny, and na. So it's given general comments on the book, right? Because she describes all parts of the film, yes, like as action, what actions are there, you see, and characters and the plot. So it's general. And the last one, she gives recommendation to see it or not, about, or to read this book or not. You see, I would definitely recommend you read it, yes? So, I think that it's time to remember what genres of the films could be. So here are presented some of the famous films. I decided to choose here films, not books, because you know that they're brighter, maybe more exciting to watch with their labels or with their pictures. Okay, more recognizable. So you see that there are given action or thriller, drama, science fictions, western, romantic comedy, or just comedy. The Proposal, one of my favorite film actually. Yeah, also we can give recommendation to the film, documentary. Yeah, that can be interesting as well. Nobody can predict exactly what genre of film or book can be given. So this is a point, and maybe it's musical as well. I've prepared for you some phrases that can be useful when you do writing. So kind of films. You see that there are given some active vocabulary that can be used here. Like as a low budget or box office hit. So flashback story, you see. Green Mile, for example, this film, I do love it, you see, because it gives us a good story of one person, you remember, who was in prison, you see, and who helped other one. Okay, well dubbed with subtitles for the first time, yes, when you just start watching, maybe you have some misunderstanding. That's why it will be easy for you to use subtitles. Well, and if you see in this part of my slide, it's presenting more non-gradable adjectives. Yes, it will be good recommendation for you, because you know that when you read such a review where used only simple adjectives or gradable adjectives, we understand that the level of language of the person who has written it is not so high. Therefore, I recommend you to use as more non-gradable as possible. But don't forget, if you use them, you should pay attention on adverbs that are coming with them. So we can't say, for example, very hair-raising, you see, or we can't say very eye-opening. No, you see, we must use strong adverbs for strong adjectives. Strong mean non-gradable adjectives there. Okay. So also you can use them as synonyms. So jaw-dropping, for example, or breathtaking. So one of my common phrases when I describe, for example, some films like Avatar, yeah, see, because of special effects. Okay, and when we describe the plot, you see that It's like the mountain that is presented here, plot, or in other words, we can say that it's structure or organization of events that make up a fictional story. So here we shouldn't forget that you start from the beginning, yes, or exposition we call it, you see, and here we represent maybe the conflict, yeah, or character and setting where all this happening. Then we come into the rising action, so events before the climax. Climax, you know that this is most interesting moment of the film. Before that, we need to show that characters attempt to solve the problem. Maybe they have some troubles or they fail in some point. You see, so it will be like a rising action. Coming to the top, or we say that is a climax. So this is a turning point or the point of greatest suspense and action. Well, so here usually we write our emotions with this non-gradable adjective. Then following action. Okay, we're coming down, you see, or action and event that occur after the climax, and to resolution. So where the conflict that was set in the beginning or the problems, they are solved. Well, and when we describe the plot, as I said before, it's very important to use as more adjectives as better, you see, and more non-gradable adjective. Also, I have prepared for you some of the phrases that even given translation. So this is, you can guess by this smile that they give us positive plot, yeah, or positive opinion. But here, we also, not everything can be as we expect in the film or in the book. You see, that's why we need to know a lot of adjectives that can be useful to show our bad opinion. For example, I like predictable. When you see from the beginning, so there is if it is predictable, I don't know what could be the climax, you see, will be not interesting to watch, you see. Or if it is incoherent, so no logic, so when actions, you know, like as a jump from one point to another, so, or if it is slow moving or slow paced, it's also you lose your interest to watch the film or to read the book, or you know, it's like as a tablet for you to sleep well if it is slow paced, and unimaginative, it also doesn't attract people. I have presented for you 3 reviews, and I give you time so to look through and tell me, does it give us good opinion, great maybe, then the middle, and the bad. Look through. You can write in your comments all your thoughts, what you think about that. Yeah, and how you do it. Just pay attention on the adjectives, on the words. Great movie! The roles make the plot come to life, okay? Our plots enhance the dimensions of every storyline. Movie worth watching. Good. So there are key phrases. Okay. The next one. Good phrase, the graphics one points as well as the sound effects. Cast, however. Okay, you see that there are given positive and negative with using some linking words, linking ideas. We come from one point to another. Time-killing movie, if not a good movie overall. The plot was difficult to comprehend, you remember, yeah? And we have just read with you some adjectives that help us to describe negative opinion. So here we have pluses and minuses, yes? I mean that strong points like as the sound effects and graphics, and weak points about plot, what's difficult to comprehend, others. This review is like as an extract, it's not from your writing task, as I gave you the structure before. So it's about film, that in a brief point. Not worth spending time. Nothing else to watch. Definitely a flop. So you see that this is a good opinion. Yeah, this is a middle. And what about this one? It is bad. Yeah, so great, maybe good, and bad opinion. Here is, I've decided to give more example of review, and I highlighted the words that help you to see the description of main parts of the writing. For instance, uninspired and cliched, the plot. On the other hand, superb, worthwhile, powerful, hilarious, yeah? Usually students like using funny. No, there is a good non-gradable adjective like as hilarious. Third rate. So what do you think? Is this review good, middle, or bad? Right you are. It is a middle because we have some positive and negative as well. It's the second one. Well, and when we write the third part or conclusion, of course, when we give our recommendation, I have presented here some forms that can be useful for you to write at the end. Try to avoid repetition of the phrases. That's why we need to remember a lot of synonyms, a lot of words with the same meaning of phrases. So this is a good, you should definitely watch it. You should definitely read it. You won't regret. I wasn't too keen on the beginning, so when we give the general information of the book or film, on the beginning you see a background, the reason, you remember where we write it. Highly recommend the book. If I were you, also there is a structure of second conditional. I definitely give reading this book a try. It's worth seeing or it's worth reading. This is a good adjective. You see, it's worth seeing, worth reading. Стоящий, да, стоит увидеть. Some of the characters were a bit shallow, and shallow, we remember that it gives us not good opinion. Also, additional phrases to describe special effects, maybe a positive like stunning, impressive. Tip. By the way, it's simple adjective. Poor as well. Laughable. Music could be unimaginative, cliched, like it's boring and profound. And characters, how they play. See. Well, and at the end of our lesson, I have prepared for you some questions. I think that you will do it effortlessly. So, question number 1. How do we call a series of related events that make up the main story in a book, film, etc.? What is that? Definitely it is plot. And also, remember some adjectives describing the plot, given good opinion and bad opinion. Done it? Okay, well done. Question number 2. This is a part of a book, film, or play that tells you what happened during an earlier time. How do we call it? Action-packed, well-dubbed, flashback? I think that you can choose effortlessly the correct answer. Question number 3. When a play, film, or new product are unsuccessful, how do we call it? Top? No. What's that? No. Flop, right. We had an example of that when it wasn't successful. Question 4. Books and films about imaginary future events and character often dealing with space travel and life on another planet. It's called science fiction. We describe some kinds of genres of films or books as well. But here it's, film. The most exciting or important moment in a story, event, or situation, usually near the end. You remember our mountain, when we come to the top, and it's called Climax. Interesting answer. And the sad film or story that makes you cry. Is it tearjerker, teardrop, eye-opening? Yeah, if you came back, you can find the correct answer to the presentation. It's there. When you want to cry, the others. Okay, so I think that it was the main part of how to write a film or book review. So if you have some questions, or if you want to give your feedback, you're welcome. Please write your comments. You see, I will be happy to talk and discuss all the points. So thank you very much. Enjoy your time and see you later.